Hello and welcome to Food Safety Fridays. My name is Simon Timperley from the International Food Safety and Quality Network. It's great to have you here today for this webinar, Transparent and Secure Food Transportation with Blockchain Technology, with our good friend Hans-Dieter Filipowski, who is the president of Nfit. So welcome, Hans. Nice to have you back. You was only here a couple of weeks ago, but come back for more already.
Yes, thank you very much for the invitation and the good possibilities to have this webinar together with you and with you all from all around the world. Thank you very much.
On that note, as you always do, type in the sidebar, tell us where you're joining from. Irma from Mexico, David from Minnesota, Daniela from San Antonio, Texas. I bet all those places are a lot more sunny than Manchester in the UK, where it's just raining all the time. Okay, I'm going to play the sponsors ads, our kind sponsors of Food Safety Fridays. We'll be back in 2 minutes for the presentation. Hello, we're back. Can you hear me, Hans?
Yes, I hear you pretty well.
The video was just locked for me. I didn't see a thing, so I had no idea whether it was playing or it finished or anything. So anyway, let's get the slides up. I'll be back for the Q&A later, but for now, I'll hand you over to Hans.
Okay, should I start?
Yes, go ahead. Yeah.
Okay. Can I make it bigger? No, it's that is the right side. Huh? Yes. Okay, thank you everybody for joining us in this webinar today. My name is Hans-Dieter Filipowski. I'm the president and the founder of the international association Nfit. We are founded in Germany, but based also in Belgium, in Brussels, in the main capital town of the Europe. So at first, if you need any questions after the meeting about what is Nfit doing and what we are dealing, have a look on our website. Of course, it's relaunched for 1 week ago, and you will find a lot of things where we are talking here today, also on our website, www.nfit.eu. Okay, now I will take you with me on my journey to the question of what does it mean to digitize the transport and the supply chain. Of course, from our side, from our perspective as the association Nfit, we are focused on all these parts of the supply chain, from the producers, of the international authorities, the NGOs and other associations, the organizations they are dealing with kosher, the rabbinets. We are talking together with these organizations for halal. We are talking with cleaning stations, logistic and transport companies, and mainly with the industry of food and feed and chemicals. But today we will only focus on this part of the supply chain when we are talking about food and transport of raw materials and food in transport containers. Who can be a member of our association? Of course, we are a non-profit association. Members can be food, feed, and chemical producers, cleaning stations, logistic companies and transport companies, certification companies, auditors, technology producers, and a lot of other people. They have to do with this part of the supply chain. What is the main risk? Of course, the main risk is that you, when you're from the production side, that you get in together with your transport of your raw materials in unknown transport containers, contamination into your factory. And these, at the end of the day, that can cost you millions of euros or dollars in something like this, and it can damage your brand. And that is the reason that we have a real look to this. It's undepending. Is it in plastic granular, what you enter by the transport into your factories, or you get allergens inside, depending to that you didn't know what has been transported before in these transport units and whatever. And at the end of the day, it can not only damage your company and your brand, it can maybe also damage the health of your clients. And that is then more than worse. Our target is, with our work in the association, to reduce the risk of recalls. We are not this association what is dealing with recall systems, but we are looking for that to make all these things visible and transparent, what is needed for you as a producer to protect your company against and your products against cross-contamination they are coming through the way of transport into your factories. And how we do it or how we see it, there we can show it here. When we are talking about the supply chain, and I remember that a lot of people have a different view on the supply chain, and also the question, what is the supply chain? We are dealing with the supply chain in that way that we said we are talking about from the transport ways, from the raw material production, maybe the farm, something like this, to the primary production, to the secondary production, up to the supermarket. And between all these different steps, we have always a part of transportation. And that is the different what we know from our work and what we know in a lot of discussion with other professionals and experts in this part. The transport is a really physical act. It's nothing to beam something from A to B like in Star Wars films. Of course, that means that the product maybe is tested before at your raw material producer, is at the end of the day, during this transport, coming in contact with the transport units, and is depending to that how these transport units are held and what they are doing when dealing with that when we are talking about the quality of transport units. For example, I show you which kind of transport units we are meaning when we are talking about transport units. It can be a transporter for grain, maybe from the farm to the mill. It can be silo trucks. It can be cooling and refrigerated trucks, silo trucks, tank containers, IBCs, everything what is used for transporting material from A to B. From A, maybe your raw material producer, to you in your factory. And you know, these transport units for you are often unknown objects. That means you have not the possibilities when you receive the product to have a look on the quality of the transport unit. And you will be astonished when you see how many tricks, fakes are outside doing. Maybe by logistic companies, they are under pressure of price pressure or something like this, to find a way to reduce cost for cleaning, for the good condition of the transport containers. And at the end of the day, you cover the risk as a producer into your factories, and you get an idea about this later when you have a recall. What does it mean? I will show you how complex is the way of a transport unit, maybe like a road tanker, an IBC, a tank container, or a silo truck. A road tanker is not even driving between A to B and B to A and so on, so that everybody is well known. The road tanker is going maybe, for this in an example you see, maybe from B1 to E1. That means from the loader number 1 to the unloading company, and transported maybe, for example, in sugar. Then this transport unit is entering a cleaning station, and the cleaning station hopefully do a good job and cleans this truck pretty well. After that, maybe in a completely different city, these logistic companies is driving to another loader, it's B number 2, with another product, maybe now a milk powder, and then entering or bring this milk powder to an unloading site. And after that, it should go to another cleaning station. And you see, so on and so on. This is a supply chain without any end and without a beginning. But it means that the transport unit is moving from one point to the next cleaning station, from the cleaning station to the next loading and unloading, and always transported different products. And the real question is, when we are talking about digitization, is how is it possible for you as a producer with sensitive products? How is it possible that you have a complete overview about this type of supply chain? In your factory, you have everything under your control, but outside of the factory, that means in this part of transporting from A to B, from your raw material producer to your side, you have it not under control. And you have to be maybe trust on paper documents, maybe for cleaning or something like this. And you have no idea what is really going on. And what we have developed and shown is that we are focused on all these points, these weak points in the supply chain, to make it visible for you and give you the chance to learn and to understand these gaps of the supply chain, so that it's easier for you to check and to control and to look for that, to protect your company, your products, and your clients. When you see, I put it in this slide here, basically in your factory, you have everything under control. Outside of the factory, it looks completely different. Yes, you have these trucks here, you have third-party companies, they are doing the service for you. You have an unloading site, maybe your clients, when you're yourself a producer of raw materials. These tankers then going to a cleaning stations, you don't know that, how they work, how they train, what they know about these points. And then it's coming to the next loading site, and you can see all this high risk is in the transportation. Of course, it's out of your hands, out of your control, and it's completely different to the control in your own factories. What does it mean? Of course, on the other hand, we are talking about you as a producer. You are responsible for your products. You are, from the point of the law, you are a food business operator. That means that you have to take care that everything in your factory has been done in a proper way, from cleaning, from hygiene, from conditions, from checklists, from HACCP and all these things. And your client, maybe when you are a producer of raw materials and there is a receiver of raw materials, also, he is also a food business operator. But the funny thing, or the astonished point, is that logistic companies are also food business operators. Of course, they are a part, a very important part, in the supply chain. I have no idea how is it in Mexico, Brazil, or in US, but in Europe it's in that way that only a small part, maybe 2 or 3% of the transport and logistic companies are registered as a food business operators. And that is in all this discussion what I have when I talk to logistic companies, transport companies. They often tell me, oh, sorry, Mr. Filipovsky, of course, what we have to do with the product, what we have to do with the quality of the product. We are only a transport company. We take the product in our tankers, we bring it to the receiver of the material, and that's it. Why we should be a food business operator? I say, hey guys, look at that. Of course, you give a road tanker to the loading station. How can they check the cleanliness of this road tanker? How can they check the technical situation? Is this road tanker suitable for food or not? How they can check all these things? They have no chance. And that is the reason that you are also, like the producers, a food business operators, and you should be registered. We talk this together with the European Commission. I talk to the FDA in America. We talk about that it's very needed that the authorities, they are ready to go to all these logistic companies, transport companies, and to register them, to give them a complete different feeling about their responsibility. And who is responsible for the cleanliness of a truck or of a road tanker or a tank container? That is the logistic company. But there's one problem. Of course, the logistic companies has not the cleaning station on their own site. They cannot walk out around of the office and have a look to that. Of course, they are working together with a big net of other cleaning stations. They can also belong to logistic companies. Of course, that's right. But if you are a logistic company, maybe in New York, and then you have maybe a client in Boston, and there you make the unloading and you have to clean these road tankers, then you cannot see these results of the cleaning. And the cleaning station is working like a hairdresser, of course. Somebody's entering the shop and said, yes, please do everything with my hair, cut it, wash it, color it in something, and dry it after that. And then I want a glass of champagne also, and then I'm happy. That is not possible. Of course, the cleaning stations are service provider. They get in contract, they get an order from the logistic company to do something. But on the other hand, they can only do that what is ordered. And that is the conflict. Of course, it's a conflict between who gives the contract for this transport to the transport company, and who is then responsible for what is to do under the aspect of hygiene and the quality of this cleaning of the transport units. And that is the reason that we are working on. And to show you a little bit how complex this system, of course, I have some weeks ago, I have a journey together with some of you, maybe with all these trucks and the risk in the supply chain. But let me move a little bit faster through this topic. But for all who has not been joined the first webinar, I will explain. Of course, this is a road tanker for liquid products. On the left side, you see a silo for powder material or grains or something like this. And the problem is if you work with these tank containers, that these tank containers are often used not only for feed or for food or for feed, they are also used for chemicals. And in this business, it's normal that you put on a sticker maybe for dangerous good. And when after the transport of dangerous good and you have emptied it and bring it back maybe to a cleaning station, on the next trip, you put on a sticker for foodstuffs only. And that can be really a big disaster for you and your factory. On the other hand, when we are talking about these transport containers, you see, a transport container is not only a body or a tank or something. It has a lot of things around this tank, maybe pipes, valves, hoses, filters, and so on. And I show you here some examples maybe of a pump to fill the tank or to empty the tank. I show you on the right side the bottom valve. And you can imagine that this bottom valve, how it looks, is not easy to clean. Yeah, you can maybe when you work inside of these tankers, you use high pressure, hot water with rotating nozzles and so on. But you will have also a spray shadow, and that can be means at the end of the day you have rest of your transported product inside, and it can be contaminated the next loading. And that is also with dirt and other things. Or what you can't see as a receiver or as a loader. Maybe as a loader, maybe no, not really. Of course, maybe if you have cracks in the weldings, if you have pittings in the wall, you can't often see this. Of course, it's impossible for you. You cannot enter for loading into the tank and have a look inside. You must trust your logistic companies. You must trust your transport companies. But there is not a real definition and rule that all these transport units have regularly to inspect it, maybe by special trained auditors, to make sure that they are suitable for food. That is one of the things what Nfit has developed, that we have developed a test regime, a test checklist to test, is this transport unit suitable for food and what is needed for that. On the other hand, you see some roundings about those maybe silo trucks or liquid trucks, that they are often unloaded by compressed air. And I know that some of the webinars are dealing with the quality of air from compressors. In this case here, we have no recycling of the air. We have no preparation units, no filter system, no real filter system. That means if you need compressed air for an unloading, is it undepending, is it a liquid or it can be a powder product, then these compressors, these simple compressors on these trucks, they suck everything inside and compress it, all the dirt in the air, maybe exhaust from the truck and so on. And that can be contaminated your product. The other point, what is very, very strange, is that people, logistic companies are dealing with this business. They are making tricks. Tricks, of course, like in Europe, it's common that a transport unit that is used for food can only use for food and never for other things. But a transport company is maybe under pressure or something like this. They are not interested to have a transport with nothing inside. So they are looking that they maybe can change these labels. These labels in German, you see, it's foodstuff only, that they can label once one way with foodstuff only, and on the other way they move it away, or in this case they turn the tube. You see here a very strange picture. Of course, I have made it by myself when I enter to a cleaning station. That is the sticker, foodstuff only, and on top there's a green sticker, category 3 material, that is waste from the slaughterhouse. And you see that they move away in the next transport, this green sticker, and then it's foodstuff only transport unit. And when they need it for other materials, they put it on. And I have a lot of other examples for that, with magnetic stickers put on, put away, or they stroke it, or they used it with cut 3 material stickers and foodstuff only stickers. And that is very a big damage. Another point, it has been in December last year in Belgium on a cleaning station. A driver is coming with a truck. He has the big sticker on foodstuff only. And before a driver enters to a cleaning station, he has to fill up a paper. It's an order. What is to do, what is to clean, how many tubes, how many hoses, this and that and that. And in Europe, it's common that the cleaning stations or the next loader are interested in the last 3 previous loads. And the driver entered in glucose, soya oil, and glucose as the 3 last previous loads. And then he enters to the cleaning station. The staff opened the manholes and they said, "Oh, it's smelling like petrol. How can it be?" They asked the driver. The driver said, "I don't have any idea. I have transported glucose. It can't be. Please clean it. Of course, I'm just hurrying time. I have to pick up the next palm oil." They said, "Sorry for that. That's smelling like petrol. It can feel like petrol. We can't clean it. Of course, you have a sticker on the side, foodstuff only. How can it be? Please show us your freight papers." The driver said, "I have no freight papers. I forgot it at the next last unloading stage," and so on. In some discussion, and after a while, the driver said, "Okay, I will take my freight papers," enters to his cabin from the truck, comes back, and on the left side, on the freight papers, it's in Polish language. I think most of you can't read it, but it's diesel oil. It's petrol, yes, by maybe sunflower grains or something like this produced, but it's a chemical. It's not a bio food. It's a chemical produced from food, that's right, but at the end of the day, it's a chemical. And then they said, "No, we will not clean it." And the driver left the cleaning stations, and you can be sure that on the next cleaning station, he will be cleaned. And then he arrives to the next loading site, and they look for that, what is signed then on the documentation of the cleaning. And the cleaning stations, they use the same names and words and products what is putting in here, and that is criminal. That is a criminal act. You see here this truck with the sticker on foodstuff staple. And the other big point is the cleaning stations themselves. How good is the cleaners are trained? How familiar are they with the technology? You see here some examples from Germany. Yeah? It looks not very nice. On the left side, on top, you find a driver who's cleaning by himself. You find cleaning stations, they're looking very dirty. This I have seen, makes these pictures on a journey to Poland some weeks ago. And I be sure when you have a food, you are never trust these cleaning stations, of course. How can they make an hygiene and proper cleaning? Another point was also the risk is always this question of food defense. How can I protect a truck or road tanker or tank container against a manipulation from a third party? And for that, in Europe, it's normal the way that they are sealed, these tankers, with all these openings and so on. But when you see how they work with this system, you see here on the left side, you have handwritten freight papers, and they put in all these numbers, these small written numbers on these flags of the seals by hand into these papers. And it's a high risk, of course. Who makes sure that all these numbers are really read one to one and put down on the paper and without any human errors? It's impossible. Of course, when I noted maybe some phone numbers, I'll be sure when I put on 5 phone numbers and you give me this information to say it, there will be maybe in 1 or 2 should be maybe a number salad or something like this. And we have seen also, of course, that I have made myself this photo. The food defense is a lot of different sealings here. How take care of this? How can identify which sealing is from whom and when? There's no chance. The other point is that half of the sealings are from chemical companies and the other half is from food producers. So you can be sure that in this tanker, they transported also food and chemicals and mixed it and bring all these things together. And now, why I tell you all these things? The big question is how you can, as a producer, use a digital system to protect yourself against all these possibilities of fraud, of manipulation and mistakes. Not everything is manipulation. There's a lot of misunderstandings. There's a lot of human errors by reading and writing something, bring the right things. And for that, we have developed the Nfit blockchain solution. And I will show you now which kind of information you can share by a blockchain cloud platform together, maybe with your clients, maybe with your loading companies, and maybe with your logistic companies to get the right information and to get all these things together. Who is doing that? Of course, one of the important parts in this supply chain is always cleaning stations. Of course, they have to look for the cleanness of the transport units, but they can only do that what the logistic companies ordered. That is the question. For that you find a balance between what should be ordered or which quality is needed. Maybe at the end of these slides, you will find my email address and you can ask for a free of charge copy of the International Nfit guideline. And there is everything written in a 4 years work together with international companies like Cargill, like Barry Callebaut, like Mars, and German companies also, to bring together all the knowledge and all the well-known risk of the supply chains together in this guideline. And that can help you to understand much more how important it is to focus, to spotlight it, the supply chain. And in this example, that is a cleaning station from Poland. They have been certified, I think, 3 weeks ago, and they are certified under the Nfit HQF. The HQF is standing for high quality food, feed, and chemicals. So there's a separate section for chemicals, and that means also that you have to separate in a cleaning station the cleaning base for food, to separate it from cleaning place for chemicals. Yes, should not mix all these things. And by this certification scheme, what has been developed by our expert groups in Nfit, the quality of the cleaning station is measured. And after this audit, what is this 3-part audits, you will get a certificate, a quality seal. In this case, it's an excellent quality cleaning, and I show you how does it work. Of course, that is a certification scheme, and this is a 3-part certification. The first one is the questionnaire. You know it from other certification like IFS, BRC, or something like this. The second part is the inspection, the real inspection of the technology. To make sure, is it possible with this technology of these cleaning stations to make a proper cleaning? Yeah. Are they working with the right temperature? How they are dosing the cleaning chemicals, and so on. And the third part, very, very important and often forgotten, is the training of the staff. Did they know what is to do? Which type of cleaning programs they use? Have they programs or not? Or they press only a button with hot water, cold water, and then going for a cigarette. And after one cigarette is cleaning ready. Yeah? I have seen these things often. I don't know how these people, they are non-smokers, have the right impression about the time, but for a smoker, it's really easy. One length of a cigarette is the duration time of your cleaning. But it's nothing that works really for you when you have to deal with quality or high quality. And you see, depending to the score, 50 to 74 means basic plus quality, 75 to 89 means high quality cleaning, and 90 to 100% mean excellent quality. It's a little bit like it's exactly the same idea as what you know from the hotel, the stars of the hotel. Is it a 2 stars, 3 star, 4 star, 5 star, whatever? And that shows you when you are the loader or the unloader, you can directly then see on the Nfit International Cleaning Certificate, ECC, you can directly see in which league this cleaning station is playing. And I think it's the same when you selected a hotel. Of course, you know, when you go for a 4-star or 5-star hotel, the room is bigger, it's maybe nicer, the service is better, but you have to pay more for that. And that is here nearly the same system. It can shows you a little bit more in which league these cleaning stations are playing and where are the risks. And here is it again, also together with this kosher and halal question. And maybe some of you are really deeply involved. What is to do with kosher and halal? Nfit has developed in his working groups and with his experts a system where you see the silos. On the left side, products with low viscosity, liquids with low viscosity, then liquids with high viscosity. And on the bottom, you find the right Nfit cleaning programs. It's not only a code for hot water or cold water or alkalic agent, it's a real process. As you know it from your factories, as you know it from each dishwasher. And then you find directly, and all these things, what I tell you now, you will find also on our website, you find the detailed program for the cleaning with pre-wash, main wash, spilling, drying, and so on. With temperature, with duration times from 2, and that makes everything clear. And here you have an overview where you can see what is maybe the cost and the duration time for a powder granular in an aluminum bulk. What is the cost for liquids with low viscosity in a stainless steel container in this range? That means 27 to 85 minutes for the total duration time from the residues, disassemble the accessories, do the cleaning, the hand cleaning, the automatic cleaning, and so on. And then you have an average here, and then you can look where is the level of cost for this. That is depending to European level, but it's similar to other countries, and you can divide it or multiply it and to get the right information for that also. Yeah, and what we have done in the past is to work together with the rabbinate here in Antwerp, with Rabbi Myers, and he gives us the allowedness that we can certified cleaning station when they are follow our rules of the association, when they are Nfit HQF certified, when they use the bulk vision blockchain technology, then they can hand out these international cleaning certificate with a logo for the kosher cleaning procedure to make sure that the receiver or the loader or the unloader has the direct information. We do the same with the question of halal. There has been not before we develop these, a real standard for the cleaning process of tank containers where are transported haram materials. And we have developed also for these, as we have done for the kosher sector, cleaning programs that make sure that depending to the contamination, is it pork or not, or derivatives, something like this, that you get the right cleaning for that. And how do we now the digitization? You see on the left side, it's called GID. It's the Global Item ID. That means this sticker, it's has a size of 120 to 90 millimeters, so not too big. And this label has a unique QR code. And this unique QR code is generated by the association Nfit. Nfit is a non-profit organization, and they hosted these unique numbers. And with these unique numbers, it's possible all transport units to label, to produce in the cloud system a digital twin, and then use this digital twin for all the transfer. And the users of the software, they can then work with their smartphones, with their tablets, with the back end, that means with the desktop and so on. You see here they are labeled the trucks, and then bring into the system all the details of this truck. Maybe how many chambers, which type of materials, has it a pump or not, how many hoses are on board. And Another point, how many seals you are used for this truck, if you will seal it to protect it food defense, and where are the seals are located. And then with the system is also possible to scan then the seals when they get in also in QR code or a barcode and bring it to the system. You see here on the left side, that is the documentation of this tank container. There's a tank container and you get all the information. At the cleaning station has the possibilities then to start the cleaning process, bring it to the end and documented all the things. So how does it work? All transport units get this global item identification number hosted by Nfit. And then it's possible that this transport unit, we can follow the loading. Of course, why? The loader now enters the information about what he has loaded, maybe a milk powder. The tanker is then transported to the unloading site. The unloading site does a verification. Okay, the one said, I have loaded milk powder. The next said, I received the milk powder. So the question for the logistic company is then very difficult to say, no, I have not transported the milk powder. Of course, I think they will agree when two other independent parties says that was a milk powder, then the logistic company will say also that was milk powder. And I called it this three-angle part, the smallest blockchain of the world. That means that now the information about previous loadings and this cheating or fraud of other people or maybe companies is impossible. It's out of the game. And after this information, when the unloading is done and maybe this verification of milk powder, then the truck enter to the cleaning station and they can do the whole process of cleaning from the beginning of the order, from the check-in from the driver to get all the data. Of course, also with this system, this Broadbike Vision software. And that means that they get the right information about the last previous loading, milk powder. They get a recommendation of what should be the right cleaning process. And they produce with this system also this unique European International Cleaning Certificate, Nfit Cleaning Certificate, and this certificate is blockchain protected. That means it's impossible to change one of these events in the supply chain. Everything is fixed in the blockchain and cannot more manipulated. You see here what we can do also, it's independent. Is it in food, is it in feed, or is it in chemicals? So that the loader gives in the information about his freight papers. He gives in maybe information about the product, which type of product is this. He can scan digital seals. The transport has been done. The receiver of the goods can scan this code again. He can make the download of all the information. He can check digital the seals without any human errors. And after that, this truck is going to a cleaning station and they can check what was the previous load. They can prepare all these things, what they are needed for to do the cleaning, to add on the right cleaning programs and produce the right certificate. You have here a view how you can enter into the blockchain vision. And if somebody of you is interested in that, we can give you a test account so that you can really show, or we show your digital how these things works and how we bring together the 4 different roles of the stakeholder. The one is the role of the producer. He can enter all the information about his products with the loading. The other role is the receiver. He can make the download of all the information, get all this information about the previous loads, the seals, and all this information. The next is the role of the cleaning stations or depots or repair. They can handle everything what is in their area. And the 4th party is the owner of the truck or the container, and he has a complete asset management, and he can follow up all these processes directly on Google Maps and can make a track and trace for that, can get directly after cleaning a digital cleaning certificate and has all information. You see here's a view with the digital twin. All this information, you can use it here. How does it works? You can see some certification. You can get these tracking, and you can use also these digital seals. Then there's no problem with each numbers or something like this. That is the way how it looks. It's a complex software solution and makes for the first time possible and visible the whole way of the products. But the key is always the transport unit. You know, there's a lot of other companies, they are doing track and trace, and you can get information about the estimated time of arrival, like maybe Project 44 or Shapeo or something like these companies. But they are doing only the tracking from a good from A to B, and then this project is over. Of course, we are dealing with the transport units, and the transport units is used years over years and met a lot of different loaders, unloaders, and cleaning stations. And that is a complete different view what we have. And for producers like you and people from quality management, that gives you the basic for real-time information without any manipulation. You see here you can use, can enter with your password, with your login data, can scan these GID numbers. You can use it here in the cleaning station, use it for the digital seals, for uploading the papers and so on. This is only the smartphone view. On the back-end view, on the desktop, you have much more information as shown on the smartphones. They are used by the operators. And yes, all these things what I give you here on the way, you can also read in these Nfit International Guideline, developing the last 4 years, handed out beginning of last year. And if you are interested in a free of charge copy, send an email to my name, Filipovski@nfit.eu, and you will get your copy for that, and you can share it also with other colleagues as you want. We are interested to spread out this knowledge, to bring it to the market so that everybody knows everything. And I have no idea, Simon, is it possible to show this video? Otherwise, you can enter to YouTube, to the Bulk Vision account, and then you will find also a short video, an explanation video, and some videos about the right cleaning, how should it works, and so on. And you can download, or you can look at that, watch at that, and then you get a lot of information. And if somebody of you is interested that we maybe check in our association your cleaning documents, what you get from your logistic companies, and you are not really sure, is that correct, what there is printed in or not, or where there is, please send me an email, let us know. We will maybe check 10 or 20 of your documents and give you then a short report where we are missing information, where we are seeing gaps, and where we maybe what can be the recommendation for you to protect yourself and make everything clear. And if you are interested in the login and in the separate show how this software working in detail, let me also know. So, ladies and gentlemen,
I can play that video. Is it 4 minutes long or something like that?
Yeah.
I'll play it then.
Okay, thank you very much, Simon.
Food safety, transparency and traceability, bulk vision, food safety in the supply chain. Food producers are required to observe many national and international laws, as well as food safety requirements, and bear great responsibility for their products. Despite all efforts to produce food in a safer manner, there are an increasing number of costly product recalls that have a damaging impact on brands. If this applies to you, are you aware of the reasons for this? Are you able to trace your raw materials and ingredients and determine their hygiene conditions during transportation? Are you aware of the risks of cross-contamination during transportation? Are you sure? Many typical transport and cleaning documents often give the impression that everything is perfect and safe, But is that really the case? How and under what conditions transportation is carried out generally remains hidden from industry. It's a black hole. It is a little-known fact that cross-contamination with mold, prions, bacteria, allergens or foreign substances such as glass, wood, metal and plastic parts is not only a risk during production but also during transportation and can pose a threat. If a consumer becomes ill or gets injured as a result of food contamination, trade and industry have to react immediately with product warnings and recalls. This has severe consequences for trade and industry, high costs, damage to the brand, or a direct threat to a company's existence. Industry is liable for any contamination, even if this is a result of upstream processes such as transportation. Bulk Vision is the first and only traceability system that ensures complete traceability of food and allergens, as well as documentation of every process step in the supply chain. How can Bulk Vision guarantee food safety, transparency, and traceability in the supply chain? Who can use Bulk Vision? Users of Bulk Vision are industry, raw material and ingredients suppliers, logistics companies and cleaning stations. Each container, silos, bulk, IBC or other transport unit is clearly identifiable by its Global Identification Number (GID) and can be traced throughout the entire transport route using blockchain cloud technology. Register with Bulk Vision to use the Bulk Vision app. Data can be easily selected, entered and electronically documented in real time using a smartphone or tablet. The benefits for you: paperless administration, additional information, food safety and transparency. The technical details are recorded for each container or transport unit profile and individual processes documented. Bulk Vision lets you know when, by whom, where and what was performed to which standards without the possibility of manipulation. Label scanning allows containers to be precisely located at any time. Even the high requirements of food defense can be properly fulfilled with electronically scannable security seals and GID. Should a product become contaminated, each individual process step can be seamlessly traced back to determine the cause of contamination. The benefits for industry and trade: complete traceability of all processes, loading, unloading, cleaning, disinfection, food defense, the last 3 previous products, allergens, DIN testing, tracking and electronic identification of security seals. The safety of your supply chain is fully guaranteed. By labeling your own containers and units and only working with logistics providers who display Bulk Vision labels on their containers and transport units, you'll protect your company, trade and customers. Benefit from the global Bulk Vision system. Make your supply chain safer with Bulk Vision. Food safety first.
Okay, we're back.
Thank you, Simon.
Right, you're welcome. Let's see. Questions. There are not too many at the moment. If you have a question, please do type it in. From Laura, does it capture the temperature requirements? That must be from an early slide. Does it capture the temperature requirements?
Yeah, that is, I think, the question. Of course, maybe when you are loading a milk, you have normally to set up the temperature and so on. And you can also enter this in this process of loading to add on maybe photos from a temperature or maybe documented. Everything can be uploaded.
Yeah. Okay. Mohammed has just said, very impressive initiative at global level. And Laura has just said, yeah, correct. You've answered her question.
Yeah.
Any further questions for Hans? After the webinar, we'll be sending an email to everybody with the recording, the slides. We'll put the link to that video again so that you can have a look at that if you need be. Yeah. So any further questions for Hans while we have him with us? Thanks anyway, Hans. Excellent presentation, and in there obviously was the guidance, the guidelines. What do you call them? Sorry,
that's the international Nfit guideline
yeah.
for transport of unpacked raw materials in transport containers.
Right.
That includes everything from the loading, from the authorities, from the law, from the loading, from the condition of the transport units, what should be needed, unloading, food defense, the complete cleaning, validation, verification, everything what has to do with the hygiene conditions of transport containers, and also traceability. So that gives a complete overview to check your own supply chain and get an idea where you should in the future look more.
Yeah. And that's available free download from your website?
Yeah. No, not from our website. Of course, please send me an email to filipovsky@nfit.eu. And then we will transfer. Of course, we would like who gets these documents. Sure. Please put the name in your company, maybe what you're doing in your company, and then we send it free of charge. It has 10 MB, not wondering about these mass of data, and it has 200 pages.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
But a lot of pictures, real pictures from reality. Some of these pictures I show you in my presentation, and that makes it, I think, visible for all the colleagues, maybe in the quality manager, in the logistic department, and so on, to get a better idea where are the risks and what is really going on in this business.
Yeah, sure. Okay, I'll put your contact details in the follow-up email, and that will help everybody. So, okay, question from Lindita. How does blockchain technology transform transportation industry based on your experience? How is blockchain technology changing transportation industry based on your experience?
Yeah, that is an interesting question. Of course, I think, of course, we started with this project, I think, 15 years ago when we are thinking about this, how to digitize it. And the world was not ready for that. But now, after Corona times, the people start more thinking, what does it mean? And in the beginning, logistic companies are not so interested in those systems. Why? If they are playing backstage, there's no light and so on, and they are doing these things, then they are not so interested to play the music in future on stage, in middle in the light, in front of you. But more and more logistic companies understand to be open and transparent with their clients. That is the basic for good and long perioded business. And so we see more and more, depending to this Corona experience, also with all these digital systems, that it becomes more and more common that people said, oh, that has a lot of other benefits. Maybe digital check-in in the companies, digital check-out without any contact between people or papers. That gives so much benefit that I think that now the time is good to changing the world of transportation.
Okay, thank you. Just lots of thank yous there for the presentation. Let's see. Does this technology, this is from Solviga, does this technology reach also East Europe to the Russian border?
That's a good question. I think in the moment, there's nobody really interested. You can use the technology worldwide. So it's working where you have internet connection, you can work with the system. It's completely independent, but I have no idea how does it work in the moment in Russia and maybe in China. Of course, everybody knows that there are a lot of systems are blocked, and I can't say that really in the moment. Of course, strange times, of course, are depending to that.
Yeah, sure. From Shiva, implementing blockchain technology is able to push the need of IT solutions and knowledge and know-how with the daily wage workers directly and indirectly. How much is this challenge daunting in developing and underdeveloped countries? Yes, so in developing and underdeveloped countries, I guess this technology is not so far implemented yet.
No, it's we started the rollout last year, mid of last year, and we got more and more cleaning stations as partners and logistic companies as partners, and also the first producers, maybe like good mills and so on, mills and milk producers. Of course, it's a new technology, not the technology is new. This type, how we solved it for these the supply chain safety is new, and there's no other system in the moment. But we built it up so that for the operators, maybe the workers, it's very simple. The worker has not to decide which product is loaded. Of course, that is maybe done by his management or by his leaders in his team. So the operator on the loading and unloading side has only to take the smartphone, scan the code, and directly all this information are on the desktop in the office where the people working there can deal with that.
Okay, thank you. Right, that's it. So, yes, well, we're just over the hour. That's the final question. Like I say, I'll follow up afterwards with an email to everybody with all the details. But yeah, Hans, thanks for your time today.
Yes.
Excellent presentation. And
thank you very much.
Superb initiative and useful resources as well.
Okay.
So thank you.
Thank you to everybody around the world. Stay safe.
Cheers.
Okay.
Thanks, Hans.
Bye-bye.
Okay, the only thing left to do is to issue your certificates, everybody. Certificate of attendance, yeah, you can download that and you can print and sign it yourself or open it in an image editing software and add your name yourself. Thanks for your time today. We've had a couple of webinars this week. If you attended the one yesterday, good to see you, and let's keep them rolling. Have a wonderful Friday. Enjoy your weekend, and I'll see you soon.